Hi everyone, welcome to Human Biology. I'm Professor Gustin and we're in week 2 and just in the process of getting used to the routine. I always make these introduction videos just to connect with you, to show you that I'm paying attention to the class, to give you some feedback in real time and just to give you some updates on what's going to happen that week. So I'm going to be talking about week 2. And I'm going to give you a little bit more background than usual. You'll get used to the routine and I won't have to tell you as much. So anyway, because you made it here, you also made it here. And all we're going to do now for every week of the rest of the semester is just one module. So we're on the week 2 module, and these modules, the week numbers correspond with your syllabus. So keep your eyes on that syllabus. So we're going to be working on the chemistry of life. And what I do in here is I give you enough background in chemistry so we can do the biology that we need to do. It's not a complete overview of everything about chemistry, but it'll be a good foundation for both this course and any other biology course that you want to take. So we're doing the chemistry of life. I'll have the video posted up here. So I stopped for a minute because where'd the video go? I'll post the video there, and then you'll have the lecture study guide. I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but you can use these check boxes for your own purposes to show you that you did that. So I don't see anything. This doesn't have anything to do with your grade. I don't see if you've checked them or not. You never have to check any. But if you want to say, oh yeah, I did that already, and you can check it off, or you can uncheck it. Okay, so what you want to do is listen to the video, or you're watching this video, then you're going to print out your lecture study guide, and I recommend using the lecture videos to complete the information on that lecture study guide. Remember, if you want to take notes right on the lecture study guide, you can edit this document and make more spaces. Other people might choose to keep the lecture study guide compacted the way it is and write your notes on another piece of paper. But somehow you'll get all this information. So watch these videos. I try to make the videos under like 15, 20 minutes. I don't think any of them are at 20 minutes, but I try to make them relatively short so you can just watch the parts that you want to watch, or if you want to rewatch something, you can do that. And it will be efficient. I'm noticing that this is bold right now for me. That means the date hasn't started. Remember, when I make these videos, I open the week on the Friday before the week starts. So I make this video before the course is open. And so the bold things are things you can't do yet because the start date hasn't started. And I just keep the start dates along with the weeks because some people get confused about how much they need to do, what's coming up and all that. So anyway, you can see the start date and the due dates here. So there will be your lecture assignment on all this chemistry information. So one of the things I want to keep emphasizing is reading your notes does not help you remember it. What reading your notes, writing your notes, and reading your notes can help you make sure you understand the concepts. But the next step is you have to remember them without your notes. So one of the things I highly recommend is do your lecture study guide. Fill it in, you watch the videos, fill it in, and then review your lecture study guide and see how many of those learning outcomes and how many of those vocabulary words you can actually recall. And it's recall that is going to help you memorize. And I'm sorry if I said this before, but I'm going to say it again. I always have students that tell me, I studied for 3 hours for this exam, or I studied for hours after hour after hour, and I got a really bad grade. And a lot of that is because a lot of students will call reading their notes studying. Reading your notes is not studying. It's just checking your notes. Studying is practicing recall. In this course, there's so many things to remember. And so the recall can be practiced with this lecture assignment. And so try to review your lecture guide and then try to do the lecture assignment. Now you'll have your notes in front of you in case you don't know something, but see how much you can recall. Remember, these lecture assignments are adaptive learning, which means if you get something wrong, it's going to ask you it again. So try to get the right answer. If you get it wrong, go review your notes or go back into the reading part of the book and review that concept. And then come back to the lecture assignment and practice. Just again, because we're just starting, I want to remind you that you can stop doing a lecture assignment anytime and come back to it. It will save what you've done. Most of these lecture assignments, they could take, an hour or so to do. So there's a lot of questions there. And like I said, stopping and coming back is fine. The last thing I want to remind you about the lecture assignment, I think I put this in the syllabus, but if you want to redo this lecture assignment before you take an exam, like you want to use that for practice, you can redo it. And so you click on the same link, you go to McGraw-Hill Connect, and next to the lecture exam that you've already completed, it will say recharge. And so you can redo the lecture assignment without affecting your grade. Okay. So study guide, videos, lecture assignment, and then I would recommend doing the lab handout. And some of the things we've talked about in lecture are also duplicated in lab. There's also some things in lab that we didn't do in lecture, but here we've got some practice. And so I would print out that lab handout. There's a couple virtual labs, and one on pH, one on enzymes, and these are concepts that we touched on in the lecture study guide. So you want to complete that entire lab handout, and then you can go to the lab quiz, and you click on the lab quiz. The questions on the lab quiz are directly from that handout. So it's my way to make sure that you've completed the handout. And so if you have questions on the handout, you think, oh, I think that question answers right, but I'm not sure, you can email me. I'm glad to talk to you about it. I won't just give you all the right answers, but I'll say, what do you think? Why'd you think that? And so you'll get to the right answer somehow. So if you have questions about the lab handout, definitely email me or stop by my office or whatever. So that's what I have on the syllabus for this week. I made a little change to the syllabus, and that is I changed the lecture assignment from 10 points to 6. And I added 4 points to get you to practice Respondus. So Respondus, I mentioned this in the syllabus. Respondus is the proctoring program that we're going to use for exams. And what you need to do is you need to download the Respondus software onto your computer. I don't usually put the Respondus practice up until next week, but last semester I had several people that just weren't doing it, and I'm trying to push it to get you to do it a little bit earlier and anticipate any problems well before you get to your exam. The main problems that we have with Respondus is, number one, Chromebooks do not work with Respondus. So if you have a Chromebook, you need to get another option. You can use another computer, borrow somebody's computer. The Corning Community College Library has laptop loaners that you can get for the semester. If you get there early enough in the semester, you can get one for free for the whole semester. There's also in the Learning Center, which is associated with our library, there is at least one computer that has Respondus software on there, so you can take the test on one of the college computers if you want to. But I want you to give you time to figure all of that out. So what I'd like you to do, and the other one is if you are a STEM Academy student. If you don't know what that is, you're not. But if you are a STEM Academy student and you're using your STEM Academy laptop, you probably need to get administrative permission to download that software. So I want you to do that ahead of time. That actually is true if you borrow a computer from the Corning Community College. They don't let you download stuff onto those computers. So you have to ask, when you get that computer that you're going to borrow, you have to ask them, will you download Respondus software onto this? And they will be able to do that. Okay, so what I want you to do is, this is just a Word document. I want you to print it out, or at least save it and read it, and that will tell you about Respondus. At the beginning of that document, there is a link, and that link has like a 2-minute video explaining Respondus. So you've got lots of information about Respondus on this handout. please watch that video. Then what you want to do is go to this, it's a quiz, and when you click on this quiz, the first thing it will say is, you don't have Respondus software. Here, we'll download it onto your computer, and it will walk you through that. If you already have Respondus software, you'll go right to the quiz. So once you download Respondus software once, you'll have it forever. So you can click on this quiz, and the questions are things like, can you see your face? Are you, it just asks you some questions that you would know the answers to. Okay, so it's worth 4 points. So you need to do this. But if you can complete this quiz, you are able to use Respondus. I leave this quiz available for the entire semester, so you can always go check your computer. Oh, I'm nervous about Respondus. I just want to make sure it still works. You can do this quiz again, and it will keep those 4 points that you already earned. Okay, your highest grade will be the grade that's in your grade sheet. So what I did, like I said, the Respondus stuff is not on your syllabus for this week. I added it in extra. I made this worth 4 points, so I need you to do it. You need to do it to make sure it works, but also to get those 4 points. That what I did do, though, is I made it due at the end of week 3. So we're in week 2. Everything's due at the end of week 2. This is due at the end of week 3. So if you do have a problem with Respondus, you have 2 weeks to resolve it. Okay. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you with that. But do that also. Okay. So meanwhile, if there's anything else that you want to know, that you need help from, you need to talk to me or let me know. I'm looking at the grade sheet right now. I can see that most of the class has things in well before the due date. So keep it up. It's nice to stay ahead and not get caught behind and doing things at the last minute. Contact me by email or phone call or whatever if you need to talk. And good luck for week 2.